Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Southeast Termite and Pest Control. Fall means football, crisp autumn breezes, and bugs. Yes, they want to find their way indoors. Spiders, ants, you name it, they want inside your house where it's nice and warm. You can call Southeast Termite and Pest Control to do for your home what they do for my home, and that is protect it from the critters you don't want in there. Southeast Termite and Pest Control, locally owned, family owned since 1971. Give them a shout. I love those guys. You will too. All right. First of all, I don't want to pick on anybody. I don't want to throw out any names here of missing stories because it happens. Anybody that's done this job, sometimes you get bad information. Sometimes information changes in between the time you get it and you report it. So things happen. You can miss stories. But this week, a story really took off like wildfire. Marquez North went down in practice. It gets reported that it was feared he was lost for the season. That got tweeted and retweeted and tweeted again and retweeted to the point that collegefootballtalk.com, at least one national website, picked up the story and ran with it. And it turns out that Butch Jones, who probably wasn't thrilled that this was running rampant, put out a statement saying, no, Marquez North will probably be back within a week. MRI looks good, so probably a week, 10 days at the most, you would think. But here's my question, and I think it's a crummy question to have to ask. I don't think it's right, but I do think it's probably the case. Does it even matter in today's Twitterverse, where everybody just throws stuff at the wall? Does it even matter to be wrong anymore
in our field? Me.
It does on something like this, like an injury.
Absolutely. Now, and when you say that, are you talking about a member of the media?
Yes.
Not just
fans.
I mean,
but see, the problem is there's 8 billion people. There are a million of us in the media now. Everybody's got their own Twitter feed, and they call themselves Vol Coverer 27.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if Vol Coverer 27 tweets out that somebody broke his leg, I don't think a lot of people are sitting there going, okay, now who is Vol Coverer? They're just going to retweet it. Oh my gosh, is this true? Gone.
I ignore it unless I know they're in the media. So I don't pay attention to it. But if you're wrong and you're in the media, to me it does make a difference.
To you?
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, that's what you're asking, right?
Well, no, I'm saying out in the world, does it matter anymore?
I can't speak for everybody else. I don't know.
You've got an opinion on whether or not you think people in the world worry about
I would like to think it matters.
I agree.
Yeah, I'd like to think it matters. So yes.
Okay, I like to think it matters. I don't think it does, unfortunately.
I think all four of us and you all think the same way, that it does matter.
Sure,
I think it matters less and less to people. I think the pressure to be first with the internet, with Twitter, with all those things, people chide you now if you're not first by 30 seconds.
Right.
Well, yeah,
And so that puts more pressure on the firstest, and I think it puts less pressure on being right. And I also think I've made a couple of mistakes in the newspapers over the years. Sorry, Cafago family. I didn't mean for it to come out that way about 20 years ago. But you had to sweat for 24 hours until you could correct it. Now the correction's almost immediate, so I think it does take less away from being wrong. My story floated out there for 24 hours before we could make a correction. Nowadays, you're wrong at 11:01, you're corrected at 11:06, and I think people do forget that you're wrong.
But if all 32 reports something wrong, and then he's wrong again, and he's wrong again, and he's wrong again, you gonna pay attention to him?
I wouldn't. There's some people in the media I know I'm not going to follow in this town. I trust guys who've done it for a long time. I think the next generation doesn't look at it that way, though. I think the generation that's weaned on Twitter, everything coming out of Twitter.
Well,
Clay Travis, for example, Clay Travis one day can write, "Is Tim Tebow a virgin?" Then the next day, well, I'm reporting that the SEC network will be worth $1 billion in its first year. And people go, oh, Clay Travis is a reporter. Okay, is he a reporter today? Well, last week was the Tim Tebow virgin thing. Which is he today? I just think that the consumer just looks at it all as noise. And whatever the latest pipeline noise is what they take in. And I think a lot of us in the media just throw stuff out. Do you think there are as many guys today who believe they have to get two sources on something
That's exactly
as there was
what it
20
was.
years ago?
No. See, that's old
People in the
school
media.
traditional
Probably
journalism. Two-source confirmation. No, but
Yeah.
I mean,
Where
look
does
at
that
what
prove?
look what
I mean,
ESPN
Well, no,
does now. They put it on the scroll line, first reported by. Who had it first? Whether they did or they didn't. Does it matter? Yeah, I think it matters to a lot of people, but maybe not as
Should.
much as we'd like to think it did.
Yeah, but I think what does that prove? That not as many people do two sources. I think that proves that there's been a regression in what we do, thanks to Twitter, I think. And I think that on the other side, on the part of the media consumer, it's just whatever the next story is. I mean, here's example. When you look at these big stories that just take off, remember this summer the ESPN reporter that just got destroyed because she said such awful things to a woman in a tow truck company, and it was national news?
Right.
Name her.
Brett McMurphy.
Brett.
Okay, that's one.
Brett.
Perfect. Oh,
Yeah.
you can't name the whole thing.
Yeah.
Jimmy got it. I guarantee you there aren't, aside from the computer, nobody else would get that when I say that with love. That's a compliment.
What country was Cecil the Lion killed in?
Well, I'll get the country, but I don't remember the dentist name.
Yeah.
It's just, whatever the last outrage, it cleaned the pipeline, is all I'm saying. You know, I agree with you. I think it should matter. I don't know that it matters as much as it used to.
And it also
unfortunately.
says choose your words carefully on something like that. It could have been suffered an injury that appeared to be serious, but you don't have to say season ending or how long he's going to be out.
Well, he
Yeah.
did say serious.
Serious.
Yeah,
and that was
serious
incorrect.
feared loss for the year.
Yeah.
Right.
Who feared it?
Yeah. All right.
He did.
When we come back,
There you go.
when we come back, did you hear the new tradition that Butch Jones is trying to get started on first downs? Oh, it's a dandy. Come on back on the Sports Source.
From East Tennessee to Kentucky, no job is too small for Benedict Construction. Electrical work, heating and air installation, even carports and garages. With a reputation for excellence, rely on the custom work of Benedict Construction.